I'm lost again, looking for something to drench my thirst. On a hot summer day, one of the best drinks one can have is freshly extracted sugarcane juice. Although it's very sweet, it's probably healthier than many other commercially available sweet drinks. And in my opinion, nothing really matches the flavor of freshly extracted sugarcane juice. Well, that was my opinion until I recently discovered the incredible plant I'm going to talk to you about in this video. If you happen to live in a tropical or subtropical region, please do not watch this video. It might make you envious, as this crop can only grow in temperate climates to my best knowledge. In colder climates, finding freshly cut sugar canes in grocery stores is often more difficult than finding durians or rambutans. The alternative is to grow sugar canes in your garden, but this can be quite challenging in cold climates, as this is a water-intensive crop that requires a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius for optimal growth. And you need these conditions for a full year, as this is the time it takes sugar canes to mature. Even if you manage to successfully grow them in your garden, with a cold hardy variety for example, extracting the juice without a dedicated machine is not an easy task. The other way to enjoy a sugar cane is to chew it like a chewing gum, if you have good teeth and don't mind chewing wood. In case you're not aware, you cannot eat a sugar cane, just like you cannot eat wood. Also, the sugar cane leaves can be very sharp, so it's not an easy plant to work with. What if I told you there is a crop that perfectly matches the sugarcane flavor, that you can grow in cold and even extremely cold climates, and that you can not only chew, but also eat? By the way, in my opinion, this crop is probably also healthier than sugarcane. Sounds good to be true? Viewers of this channel probably know that I'm trying to grow tropical plants in my small garden here in Canada. One way to tackle this challenge is to grow tropical plants that have adapted to colder climates, like pepper trees. Another way is to find and grow crops that best mimic the flavors you want. I did just that when I decided to grow sugar canes in USDA Zone 5, where temperatures often drop below -10 degrees Celsius in wintertime. But I would be lying if I told you I combed through many online nursery stores and websites in search for the best sugarcane alternative, and that I planted and tried many different crops for many years until I found the best flavor. The truth is that it was mostly by chance. Rabbits ravaged my fruit trees a few years ago, and I decided to plant new trees. There are many ways to approach fruit tree selection. A common approach is to plant a variety that you enjoy eating. Ideally, that variety will also exhibit other good characteristics like disease resistance and cold hardiness. Often it's difficult to get all the desired characteristics. For example, for the time being, Honeycrisp apples are hot with consumers. They are juicy, have thin skin, and are super crispy. But they are extremely susceptible to fruit rot and fire blight, and require more attention than, for example, the Liberty apple, which is more disease resistant. I followed a completely different route after the ravage from the rabbits. I wanted to plant varieties that are not commercially available. Why plant a Honeycrisp apple tree if you can easily buy the apples at the grocery store, without all the hassle to keep the tree disease-free? Well, to be fair, there are a couple of good reasons. You can choose the perfect time to pick the apple from a homegrown tree, as fruits sold in grocery stores are often picked too early. You also don't know what pesticides were used to make them look nice on the shelves. My second main criteria was flavor. I wanted a unique flavor, something exotic or tropical. But then, how was I to select a variety based on flavor if it was not commercially available for me to try it first? So I just decided to make a leap of faith. After all, I'm growing a bunch of tropical fruit tree seedlings and might never get to taste their fruits, let alone be picky about their flavors. That being said, I did a lot of research. I was initially looking more for something with a banana or mango flavor. That's when I stumbled upon the Frostbite apple. Many people describe its flavor as ranging from apricot orange to molasses. I was intrigued that some people would even mention a sugarcane flavor. And actually, opinions I read were mixed. Some people liked it a lot, others didn't like it at all. It reminded me of the durian fruit in terms of extreme opinions. Well, I'm in the camp of the durian lovers, so I decided to do some more research on this apple. I had never heard of the Frostbite variety before, but surprisingly it's been commercially available since at least 2014, according to the University of Minnesota, where it was created through their breeding program. Frostbite is actually an old apple variety born in the 1920s. It gave some of its DNA to Honeycrisp and other more well-known apples. I ordered a bareroot Frostbite apple tree on a semi-dwarf rootstock. I went through an online nursery as big box stores did not have it. I planted it in early spring and I never had any issue with it through the summer. Check out my video on how to plant fruit trees in difficult situations. The following winter we had some nights with temperatures reaching minus 20 degrees Celsius. I left the tree unprotected and it made it without any problem. I'm in USDA Zone 5, and according to the University of Minnesota, frostbite is cold hardy down to Zone 3. However, I did protect the tree against rabbits this time. This is a pretty tough tree. The reason I'm saying this is that the following spring, it flowered and even produced 2 fruits. I was surprised. I was not expecting to get fruits from a small bareroot tree only a year after planting. Usually, I remove all the fruits on my young trees to direct their energy to growing roots and branches the first few years. But I must say I was a bit impatient to test a frostbite apple for the first time, so I left the 2 apples on the tree. I still stake it, as its trunk is still thin and easily bends in strong winds, even more so with 2 apples at the top. The leaves had some cedar rust on them, but this disease does not seem to affect the tree that much. I have junipers and cedar hedges all around my garden, and I have seen worse than this on other apple trees. Unfortunately, 2 mourning doves decided to spend their last summer month in my garden before heading south. One morning, I discovered that they enjoyed one of my apples for dessert, so I decided to taste the damaged fruit instead of discarding it or leaving it on the tree. The apple was clearly smaller than a Honeycrisp. With the first bite, the fruit felt pretty crispy to me. It was also very juicy. Is it more juicy and crispy than Honeycrisp? Well, it's hard to tell, but I think it's up there with the best apples on these 2 criteria. Then came the flavor. Yes, sugarcane will be the best description from my point of view. I was so mind blown by the flavor that I messed up the recording of the video. I was effortlessly eating a sugarcane. That was pretty amazing. I guess people who describe this flavor as molasses have never enjoyed a sugarcane, so molasses is naturally what comes first to their mind. And I certainly can understand why some people would not like this apple, because it does not really taste like an apple. Maybe the best way to enjoy this apple the first time is to convince yourself that you will not be tasting an apple. I cannot say that I'm 100% sure people who like sugarcane will like this apple, because it's weird. What I can say is that I love this apple a lot, and the fruit I was eating for the first time was not even fully ripe. Frostbite is a late season apple. The best time to pick the fruit is late September to mid-October, according to the University of Minnesota. So the fruit I was eating still needed at least a full month to get to maximum awesomeness. I had one last fruit on the tree, still untouched by the birds, and I really wanted it to stay that way for another month before I pick it. I wrapped my last fruit with this bag. The bag did its job. The birds did not damage the fruit. I did not wait another month though, since squirrels were also getting busy around the garden in preparation for the winter. I only waited for another 2 weeks, the last day of September. Frostbite apples have a tendency to crack around the top, or resetting. This is another reason to protect these apples with the little bags, as the cracks can attract pests like wasps. Maybe mourning doves and other birds can more easily pick up the scent of resetting apples as well. Resetting reduces the storage life of this apple and can explain why it is not more widely commercialized, in addition to its unusual flavor. So, growing your own frostbite apple tree would probably remain the best option to enjoy this apple for the foreseeable future. Notice how shiny the apple is. I did not clean it. I did not use any pesticide or fungicide either. Just like with the first apple, there was no sign of scab or cedar rust on it. Here is a size comparison with the biggest Honeycrisp apple I had that day. And here it is next to the smallest Honeycrisp apple in the bag. This second apple was as crispy and juicy as the first one, with the same sugarcane flavor. It had some tanginess I did not notice with the first apple. Usually fruits tend to become sweeter and less tart as they ripen, so I was a bit puzzled. But the tanginess was great. It definitely added a je ne sais quoi to this strange sugarcane. Maybe next year I will get more fruits. If so, I will wait until mid-October to pick these amazing apples, hopefully before the birds and squirrels. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for updates and more content like this.